Saeed Farouk spoke, and here's what he told and said at a news conference.
I have no idea. Why would he do that? Why would he do something like this? I have absolutely no idea. I'm in shock myself.
That is the brother-in-law to one of the suspects who is now dead from this shooting in San Bernardino, California. Let's go live there and check in with Alex Stone. Good morning, Alex Stone from ABC.
McGraw, good morning to you. And all night long here on the scene, we've been hearing explosions going off in the nation, trying to take care of the explosive devices that were left behind by Syed Farouk and his wife or girlfriend, aren't quite year-old Tashfeen Malik, that whatever this was, it was apparently well planned out, that they had the tactical gear, they had the weapons, the AR-style rifles, the handguns, they had the plan that they wanted to carry out, they had the explosives, and they carried it out within minutes, killing 14 people, injuring 17, and then getting out of there before police arrived on scene until police found them at their house. And then a chase took off through the streets of Redlands, which is next door to San Bernardino, then into San Bernardino, and then a dramatic shootout in the streets of this city. 27 police officers opening fire on them, exchanging gunfire, killing both Farouk and Malik. But what this was, police, the FBI, they don't know yet. They say terrorism is one possibility. It could have been some kind of weird workplace violence. They don't know what this was. They're leaving all options open.
Alex Stone, we kept hearing about 3 shooters. Now we're only hearing about 2. Is there a third person?
Police say no. They think this was only 2, that there were some initial reports of 3, but that's not that uncommon, that in Columbine, people thought that there were 6 or 7 shooters. It turned out to be 2. In Aurora, Colorado, people thought there were 3 or 4 shooters. It turned out to be 1. Typically, in these cases, the witnesses see a lot more than is actually there, just because it's happening so quickly. That police say maybe somebody helped them plan this, but actually carrying it out, that they think it was only the 2 of them. Now, one man was detained during a neighborhood search last night. But they think that man had nothing to do with this, and he was just happened to be in the neighborhood. But they believe at this point it was the 2 of them.
The two suspects came back to the school, came back to the building at some point.
Well, what happened was Farouk was in a meeting with his coworkers, and his coworkers say he seemed fine. He was taking part in this meeting. Some have said it was a holiday party. The County Department of Public Health says no, that it was workshops and training that was underway. He became angry at some point, left his coat, got up and walked out, and then came in a short time later with Malik and carrying out the attack. Afterwards, they disappeared. There was a thought that there were 3 suspects at that time on the run, and police all around California got ready, and they got into a posture. The LAPD, an hour and a half away from here, went on tactical alert, and was it's what they call when they can move officers around, keep them on past their shifts. They set up a command center for fear that there could have been more shootings that were going to pop up elsewhere in Southern California with these folks on the loose. They thought they could have been heading to Mexico, to Vegas, anywhere. And then it turned out that they were right down the street the entire time, that 5 hours later, they were in a police chase with officers making their way through the streets of San Bernardino, and that's where it ended for them.
Yeah, Alex Stone, it seems like it was random and planned all at the same time.
Random and targeted and planned. That why this? That seems random, but yet these were his coworkers. These were his bosses who were apparently targeted. That this wasn't, if this was terrorism, this was not your typical terrorism in the sense of walking into a crowded area or walking into somewhere where people are confined, but there's no connection between the attacker and the victims. In this case, these were the people he has worked with for the past 5 years. That's what's so confusing to police as they try to figure out what this was.
Is it officially over? Have the police now found everything they're going to find?
Well, they don't know. They think that it is over, but if they have found everything, they have been executing a search warrant at his house overnight. We've heard controlled explosions there as police have made their way through. And, every time we hear an explosion doesn't mean it's an actual bomb. A lot of times they'll detonate things that they think could be explosives but turn out not to be. There was a pipe that was found on his body yesterday after the shootout, and there were concerns it was a pipe bomb. They detonated that. Turned out to be nothing but a piece of pipe that happened to be in his car. So they're moving very slowly. They don't know what they're going to find, and they do caution us. They say, look, they're so early in this investigation that we're going to hear things and see things, but not to jump to conclusions. They only in the past few hours actually got in the building and allowed the coroner in to get to the bodies because of all the explosives that were in there. This is very, very early in the investigation, and they say that don't jump to any conclusions at this point, but terrorism is one thing that they're looking at.
In terms of people died, people injured, what are those numbers as of now?
It's 14 dead, 17 who are injured, some of them critically, so the number of dead could potentially go up. But as of this morning at 4:24 Pacific time, there are 14 dead.
Alex Stone in San Bernardino. Alex Stone, thanks for checking in.
You got it. Thanks, McGraw. Have a good day.
625, Big 550, KT.